I do like this. I mean, I like the flexibility in both drafts. I think it's a lot of fun. Well, Team D, final ban out, OB.Neon. They'll have one themselves, and we'll get to see how these finish off. What are you laughing about, John? Have you seen something?
Neff is in the chat, Mike. He's
Oh.
He's trying to start a war here. He
Why?
asked, "Who do you guys think looks better, Mike or John?"
Oh.
Trying to break us up. Neff. He's trying to break us up, man.
No, I mean, in all fairness, I'm not wearing a very flashy shirt today, which is a bit unfortunate. Speaking of which, John, I mean, you were giving shoutouts before. Do you want to give a shout out to the person who bought you your shirt, who's probably watching?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my mom. This was a birthday gift. She got it so we would match. I wore it today because I was hoping we'd match. We're not matching though, Mike.
Tomorrow.
I'm disappointed.
Tomorrow. I'll make sure tomorrow. Thank you, Mrs. Fernandez, by the way, for helping John with some fashion. He always looks terrible with his toothpaste polos on and things like that, but it's good to see you finally looking good, Jonathan. I promise tomorrow I'll wear a bit of flashier one. I was feeling a bit casual today. OB.Neon, final ban out, John. They're banning out carries, it looks like. It does appear Team D do require a pos 1 of some sort. They have a minute and a half. Any carries in particular that stand out to you that you wouldn't like to see if you're OB.Neon?
Maybe something like the Life Stealer would be really annoying. You don't have the best of hold for a Life Stealer. He's going to rip through a Bristle and a Sand King. Plays really nice with a Timber Saw. Great Infest vehicle on hand. That was already banned earlier, my bad. In the pool, Jog is an option. They ban out the PA, so no option for that. Not the best PA game from Team D, but you don't also have that burst damage on OB.Neon, I suppose.
I think it might have just been the value with the Fan of Knives, right? Like 20 minutes in, you get the shards up, you have that break against Ench and Bristle. Probably was just the way to go, I guess, if Team D wanted it, but Team D, 30 seconds left. What do they want in this pos 1 role? Who's going support? Who's playing core? I mean, right now... Alright, it's going to be a Luna. Fair enough. Drew had a great game last game around, but what I was about to say is it looks like we're about to see a mid-Mars and say an off-lane Timber and just a pos 4 lane, a pos 5 Brewmaster is the way I'm kind of going here.
Yep. That's the most sensible way to execute that draft. You want that farm priority on Mars and Tim. Mars support with Lena Core just doesn't feel amazing when you already have the Brewmaster support as well, so someone needs to take the back seat there. Should be the Brew. We've seen Brew the last time we saw it in the support role. Even without the Ags, it was still highly effective in disrupting those fights, so should still work out for Team D. Neon. Again, flexibility on hand here. We don't know if they want to run pos 1 Bristle, off lane Bristle, even a mid Bristle is a possibility. Sand King flexibility between mid and off is there. I think you'd want to hammer in actually off lane for Enryu. Like, you want some more control there. You want something that can play with your Mirana Arrow with a stun. I just don't see that many options left. They could try the Tide, but they tried the Tide Luna lane. It didn't feel good. I don't think that changes with a Mirana support now as well. So something else to get some control going, to get some pressure onto Drew would be really ideal here. Centaur is still a melee hero against Luna, but you've got a good hoof stomp arrow combo if you want to go that route. Konka would be nice as well, replicating what KYXY did. You go with Zeus. Oh,
that's a new one.
All right. That's, yeah, your Paj Zeus. That's going to be Enryu, Sand King, and Skem Bristleback safe lane. I don't know about this. It feels like the Zeus is just going to be run down. They have a hell lot of ways to jump into the back there. Timbersaw's there. Mars with Blink. Yules is going to be there. Brewmaster can isolate that Zeus.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is. Like, the mid lane matchup should be all right as well. No, actually, Zeus versus Lena, it's pretty okay for Lena to play around.
No, I believe it's Chris on the Timber.
Oh, right. Chris on the Timber. You could bull him out early, but Timbersaw shouldn't be completely stopped from farm. You'd rush the Hood of Defiance, ideally find it by, say, 5-6 minute mark if you're quick, and just kind of go from there. So your Paj has to really bully out Chris as much as possible. I don't know, Zeus' last pick here just feels rather strange. Team D still has this really fast momentum to play with. They've got the Mirana Sand King lane on OB.Neon side, but if Team D hits that same farming pace with Drew, I don't see Neon kind of recovering from that sort of deficit this time around.
Yeah, it all pans out, John. It's going to be a very interesting game too. Of course, OB.Neon, if they lose this game, they're going to get knocked down to the lower bracket of the playoffs here for the close qualifiers. So, yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. You're not guaranteed out or anything, but certainly just something that I don't think any of us were expecting to see, but we'll see if Team D can do it. I've got to say, Game 1, they look fantastic. Game 2, we'll see if they can replicate the performance. Very, very exciting stuff coming up.
The big difference here for this draft for Neon is that the win condition is not in Yopaj. It's truly on CTM now. Right? Like Game 1, we saw Yopaj just do a lot of work from the TA, getting the farm, keeping up the pace with Drew. You can kind of keep pace on the Zeus, but the power spikes aren't as scalable as the TA. And that just means that Skem has to take a much more greedy position now. He has to be able to get the farm for his team, hit his Ags timing, and try to steamroll as soon as he gets his items up. That's a lot tougher for OB.Neon to pull off compared to Team D. And Team D just has these really smooth spikes. Their team fight looks really good. With the Sand, with the Brewmaster and the Mars as well. They've got great control, good burst on that Lina as well. So they have a lot of options in kind of getting those timings done here.
I mean, you know OB.Neon as well, right? Like, they lost Game 1. They're going to come back in Game 2 with a vengeance now. We've seen it many, many times from this team. They're not going to back down without a massive fight. I think Game 2 should be a very entertaining kind of match for us to watch here as we do get into it, but we're just going to have to wait for these bounty runes to spawn up. I doubt we see too much early action here, at least before the laning stage does begin. Though it does seem like Team D has completely huddled up and is ready for a big battle if it does come. Of course, Game 1 around, we did actually see both teams just completely run into each other, but that favored Team D last time around. If it happened again, I'd be kind of curious to see who would come out on top, but again, I just kind of doubt OB.Neon's going to go for that risk again.
Yeah, and then look at Team D though. They take a 3-man smoke upon low Destros and Drew. They might look to do something around this top bounty rune here.
The battle begins.
I'll leave him be. So 2-for-2 trade, pretty standard kind of stuff. No engagement. They are still smoked, however, John. So they're gonna move their way up as 3 heroes. And if you can land the Light Strike array here from Destros, it should be enough damage to get a kill, along with the Cinder Brew if they go down that route. They're going to wrap around, but no, it looks like they're going to reveal themselves. There is a bit of body blocking going on here from Shanks and Enryu anyway. Drew, he's going to turn around, but again, I doubt they find anyone, and they won't. So Burrow Strike's there. Arrow is going to be taken by Ponlo. So he's not going to allow the double stun to fly out onto Destros, and well, Destros immediately is just going to TP back down to the bot lane. Make sure he can help out his off lane, which is going to be KYXY on the Mars. So they do indeed go for the mid timber.
Yep, the offlane Mars up against the Bristleback is not the best feeling in the world for KYXY. He can kind of try to shove out the lane with that God's Rebuke, but you can see Johnny Well doing a great job with the Impetus, just constantly keeping KYXY low. Once CTM hits level 2, level 3, you can start spamming those quilt sprays out, get some slow, get some good minus armor off with nasal goo, and that's where it gets a bit dicey for KYXY. Like it's a weird back and forth because down the line, the Spear of Mars will force the Bristle to face front, and that's really why Mars into Bristle, once the arena is ready to go, can kind of work towards the favor of the Mars because you just force him to face your teammates. But in lane, it can be a bit challenging. Like you have the chain stun combo with Destros. Again, I think you're looking for the spear into LSA unless Destros can get a good hiding spot here in the tree line. And it just has to be careful with trading early on. Once you get levels up on the Fiery Soul, you can kind of trade favorably against that Enchantress. And the uptime for Impetus early on in lane is not the best and really burns through your mana fast.
Yeah, it certainly does. Of course, mid lane, you've got Kriz there. Yopaj, Kriz against each other once again. The Timber vs Zeus matchup does seem quite favorable for the Zeus, but Kriz, I mean, he should be okay, as he does get quite forward here onto Yopaj. Yopaj is kind of man-fighting him with the Arc Lightning. It's a lot of damage out here from our Zeus. And Kriz looking for that bottle and the Timber to really be able to just keep himself healthy. Meanwhile, top lane, Arrow is going to land. They do catch Drew, but it seems like they wanted Ponlo instead. Both heroes going to be just fine here from Team D.
Yeah, you're having a pretty decent start for OB.Neon so far at the top lane. Drew isn't farming as quickly as he was, so Enryu's got a better time in laning here, down to the fact that Shanks can actually get some decent harassment out. Kill opportunity with the arrow and stun though.
He's going to be alright. I thought they might go for a spear back towards Destros, but they do not. Top lane, Ponlo is going to be caught out, and Ryu does get the kill. Very nice start here for OB.Neon, as they do secure the Brewmaster kill themselves.
Yeah, it's a big tanky target to take down, but that is really nice target to go for. Enryu managing to secure that, getting the bonus gold. That's going to be nice. Already has the soul ring up, so he's got the sustain to keep this wave shoved out, and it's actually really annoying for a Luna to be against Sand King. Like, your attack range is small, so the Caustic Finale can actually latch onto you because the radius is 500 compared to the Luna's attack range of 330. So it's hard to actually dodge that out in the lane, and Enryu's doing a great job of leveraging that, making it tough for Drew to just stand his ground and farm.
Jeez, a lot of damage at the bot lane from Genuel. He got that Harpy with the Chain Lightning and just started destroying KYXY and Destros. They will be able to back off, but they're sitting very low in terms of region, and of course this is going to allow CTM to just keep up the great work in terms of CS. Definitely a very hard time here for Team D in this off lane. Maybe not. CTM, he gets caught by the Light Strike Array, but the Quill Sprays, they are really starting to stack up. Destros and KYXY, they are going to be forced to back a little bit.
Yeah, you just have to watch yourself. It's that spike for the Bristle in lane of Mars. Just can't do as much. And Destros, he really doesn't want to trade too many hits for that Bristle.
Drew? Yeah, Drew goes down to the top lane as well. Shanks able to pick up the kill. Enryu, he has another burrow, but of course is not going to dive to tier 1. Not with that kind of low HP. But they found a massive pick off there on that POS 1 Luna. And again, OB.Neon, they just look so much stronger this game already.
They've got much better lanes coming out. Drew's not flash farming like a madman. Has to watch himself here, Enryu, though.
That he does. They've got the Sentry Ward as well, but a nice arrow does land. Shanks is right in as well. He's got enough time to get another kill. No, Drew, he had the stick charges, and that's going to be enough for him to back off, but he's got 0 regen left. Meanwhile, Ponlo, he might be able to kill off Shanks. The Cinder Brew will be enough to burn him out, so Ponlo gets a double kill on the Brewmaster, gives the Tango back over to Drew. But there's nothing really like a salve there for the Luna, so she will have to be very careful. In fact, Ponlo, he's going to get caught with his pants down here. Does end up getting killed off by Enryu.
Yeah, you have to watch yourself. Again, Caustic Finale is long enough that it can actually hit Drew when it comes in for the hits.
Yeah, right in after Drew. Oh, there's the Zeus ulti. Thunder God's Wrath comes in, and yeah, I mean, I thought maybe he wouldn't have enough, but you can't forget your Pages in that mid lane. And he will be able to secure kills like that very easily.
Yeah, they managed to make use of that. It's a nice pickup for your Paj to play with. And you are seeing the change up. OB.Neon's much more aggressive, and they're able to dive a lot further. Even the bot lane, CTM still keeping a lot of pressure on KOX. You just can't do anything in this lane to stop that.
Yeah, they dive your Paj in the mid lane, but he just TPs out. No stuns available to stop him from doing that. That's going to be rather unfortunate here, as you did have that nice rotation in from Ponlo. That doesn't amount to much, but the retreat of the Zeus. I suppose you do buy a bit more time for Chris to be able to kind of catch up in terms of CS to your Paj, who is well and truly ahead. Well, yeah, everything's still going very well for OB.Neon. I don't think they've dropped one lane. Every lane seems to have gone their way.
They're just playing so much faster, and they're preventing the flash farm coming out from Drew, preventing KYXY from hitting his leveled spikes as well. He's he's at 5 1/4. Should hit 6 at a good time, although Johnny
He's gone. Top lane, they're chasing Drew down as well. They will not be able to get in range for the Burrow Strike. They get Genuel, which is, it's a nice kill. The Enchantress goes down, but still got to be very, very cautious. It just feels like at any moment Neon could start pouncing again. I suppose especially once your Paj has that Thunder God's Wrath back up is when you've got to be really afraid. As you saw how fast Drew drops with the burrow and arrow follow through. You have the Thunder God's Wrath on top, and it's almost a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, it's just a lot globally coming out from Upaj, and the early burst from OB.Neon is just a lot nicer. For Team D, that's going to have to come out on Destrus, and he's way far off from the 6. You can see just how Enryu's posturing as well, just trying to chase down Ponlo here.
They're not going to pop the epicenter though. Ponlo well and truly far away enough. In fact, he's going to turn around now with the Cinder Brew out, and he does get the pop, but the arrow does connect, and the epicenter is going to be able to now turn around with Enryu. Upaj has showed up. There's a lightning strike out, but is it going to be enough? They'll get the arc lightning as well, and Enryu, he's just giving vision here for Upaj. They're going to lose it for a second. They'll get the kill as Enryu now. He's back in after Drew on the Luna. They're going to blow him up. A nice arena down KYXY, but he's too late. He gets the Zeus at the very least, and in fact, they found Shanks as well, and they will get another. 3 kills for the side of Team D at that top lane. They lose their Luna, but it doesn't seem that bad anymore.
No, that's a big recovery for KYXY. Just leaving that lane which he was losing bot, finding the kills that the team needed, and getting the control with the arena. OB.Neon diving fairly deep for that. They can't really transition to a push because of those pickoffs now, and well, the side of Team D are feeling great. The only big boon is that CTM is clearing out some ancient stacks on that Bristle, so he's managed to get that done. He's got the early Vanguard on the Bristle, very hard to zone out, and that should lead to some good farm to ramp up here.
Top lane, Mars. Arrow does connect with the Burrow Strike. KYXY. He's still a tanky boy, and he does have 7 stick charges, but the Thunder God's Wrath is just barely going to be enough. And unfortunately for KYXY, John, he's not holding any raindrops. So he's going to take the full brunt of that damage.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate loss, and that does open up that push we were looking for from OB.Neon. CTM works his way up top. His right click damage does pile up as soon as the Warpath starts kicking in. So they can go for that, but the mid is being pressured here by Team D, and that's a bigger tower to get at this point in the game.
Definitely something you can do with the Timber. Just tank the tower like this and slowly chip away, and it does feel like OB.Neon may not necessarily have the draft to be able to try and counter this out. Ponlo, of all people, takes the last hit on the tower. Chris obviously wanted it, but maybe a bit of miscommunication as now a nice arena is down, and they're going to secure John Newell on the Enchantress. Nice easy kill there for Team D as Enryu's going to show up. They won't have any detection, but Chris, he doesn't seem to mind. He'll just keep farming the mid wave.
Yeah, he's really tanky in that Timb right now. Already has the Hood of Defiance up. He's got max level reactive. Very hard to zone out from the side of OB.Neon. OB.Neon still have the slight net worth lead, less than 1k going their way. And they are finding really good farm distribution between their Zeus and Bristle. But the side of Team D, they shouldn't feel pressure to play too fast. Maybe they play as 3 or 4 with the Timbersaw and the Mars taking point, but as long as he buys space for Drew to get this flash farm, he already has some Mask of Madness. The Dragonlance not too far off now with 2 parts to go. And Drew should still be able to outfarm everyone else, just by nature of the Luna.
KYXY, he goes down a bot lane. They got the epicenter out there from Enryu. Now Ponlo, who was quite low himself, needs to run. Enryu going to be chased down here by Chris. Chakram is going to land. They get the Sand King. And somehow Ponlo gets himself out of it. I mean, he had the split anyway, but he obviously didn't want to commit it that defensively and just walks away. And I guess that the Timber made it in time.
Yeah, Chris just shows up at the right time. Does give time for mid to get jumped
Drew. That's a lot of damage, Drew. He's got no way of really defending himself as now KYXY is there with the arena, but is it too late? Meanwhile, bot lane Ponlo ends up dropping, and there goes your Zeus, your Page. It's one of the problems with the Zeus pickup. You can get the kills easily, but after that, it's so easy to get caught by this Mars that you're almost guaranteed to die in response.
Yeah, it's still a good trade for OB.Neon. They don't manage to get that tier 1 push in exchange though, but they kill off the Luna. Drew's just farming really aggressively. I think he really just needs to stick to his jungle. Maybe he's got the raindrop, so even that's just not enough with the true put for multiple heroes. Just play in the jungle. CTM's doing the same thing on the Bristle, clearing out the camp's top. You need some space to farm up, get your Dragonlance up for the stats, look for the fast BKB as we saw last time from Drew, and once you have that quick BKB, that's when you're a lot comfier. He's in no shape to fight. He does just get the Eclipse up now, but it's level 2 Lucent Beams, so the output of that isn't that great.
OB.Neon start making their way down bot, see if they can find themselves some more kills. Epicenter not up, but you don't really need it anyway. You just need that Burrow Strike to set up, and Ponlo is going to cop an arrow, and they just burst him down. No Brewmaster split available. Now Kriz, he's going to be fine, at least for now. He chains away. They won't have enough magic damage output to really burst him down. In fact, now the turnaround. Laguna there from Destrus. The LSA, he'll get the kill onto Enryu, and they might just turn. Team D, KYXY looking for an arena, but he doesn't just want John Newell. He'll have to accept it though. In fact, Shanks not really within safety's range either. He's gonna be chased down by Kriz. Chains forward. Is dropping quite low himself, however. He's gonna be able to chain away. They won't have the Thunder God's Wrath to be able to finish off the kill. On the left side, Ponlo, he's respawned. He's just popped the Primal Split, and he's going to rush in, trying to find a target. Do they have Dust? It does actually connect onto Shanks, so they will be able to find the Mirana. But now the Epicenter, Enryu looking to turn it back around. Goes on to Destrus with the Thunder God's Wrath. KYXY, he is so darn low, and he cannot TP out in time.
Where are you going?
It's barely going down as Ponlo is going to be punished for this play. And I don't think there's really a way out for him. He's almost certainly just set to die. He'll buy a little bit of time, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, just a bit too deep from Team D. They should have taken their winnings, cashed out, moved back out. They were fairly low on a lot of heroes as well before that re-engagement happened. So just a bit too greedy coming out from Team D. OB.Neon, the kills go onto Yopaj. Very important here to actually see those kills in. Yopaj,
Burrow Strike there. Arrow does connect. They might have enough with 4 heroes around him, and it looks like they do. Or maybe not. No. They get the root off with the ensnare from the Enchanted Creep. And with that, they can set up for that tier 1 mid tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
CTM just shows up, gets a right-click soft. There's a smoke here as well. OB.Neon gonna look to wrap around. They know Drew is farming up top, but they don't really have the best vision to fully scout that out.
Lane, Yopaj just going on to Destrus. He might try and turn with his team.
Dire are scanning.
They do lose their top tier 1 tower, and the mid, of course. Looks like Yopaj is going to be just fine on the Zeus. There's OB.Neon. Still looking to be the aggressors this game, too. They do have a 2k net worth lead advantage, and I mean, CTM's farming very well on this Bristleback. Because if they can keep this up, it almost looks certain to be OB.Neon's game. Naturally, you've still got Drew on the Luna to be worried about, and he's caught up in farm quite well as well. But to see if it does manage to pay off in the end.
I like the movement out from OB.Neon, like John Newell just invading that top jungle, taking a camp or 2 away. Slows down the farm of Team D enough that it feels a bit uncomfy for even Kriz to try to play catch-up. They've also always forced Drew out onto lanes, and Drew's always forced to show up somewhere, join these fights. Could be awkward.
On lane, Arrow is going to connect. Still, Eclipse is there. Drew's going to try and protect his pulse 5, but Yopaj, again with the Thunder God's Wrath, does secure the killers. KYXY is in. He has the arena, but he has no detection. And now the Epicenter turns it right back around on him, but he's going to be alright. At least for now. He's trying to run as Destrus, does secure the kill to Shanks. And they go for more. Enryu though, Burrow Strike turns back around, and with the backup of his Zeus, they will be able to secure another. But now they've caught Yopaj with a big arena there from KYXY. To Enryu. Burrow Strike up to the high ground. He's going to be alright. Still, it's not really that bad of a trade, Team D. They got the mid Zeus. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit more from these trades. You just worry about how much Scam is allowed to farm. Still sitting ahead of your Luna. And that just means Drew's not able to be as efficient around the map. And this Bristle's about to get really big. Just 1,000 gold away from the full Ags. That's when it gets silly. Nasal Drew just constantly flying out, although.
And you will. He pops the heal out, but it's not going to matter against the Timber. They also have a Sanking there, and they stun him up. Enryu, a nice blink away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He'll be just fine.
Yeah, It's not the biggest kill to lose there for Neon. You're still getting good farm coming in onto Skem. You're just stalling out for that Ags. 500 gold away now from that downtime. Drew, BKB almost done, but can't really afford to get caught out like this.
Well, Arrow does connect though. They found Drew on that Luna, and it looks like he is just gone. Destrus, he's pretty low himself. Ponlo, he's going to try and help out, and so will KYXY, but they've already got 2 kills. There is a nice spear out. It doesn't actually latch onto anything, but it still gets the stun. Nevertheless, with the Cinder Brew, they'll have enough. But they lost their POS 1. They lost their POS 4. Definitely a favorable trade here for OB.Neon. A CTM now top lane. It's going to go after Chris with Yopaj around. They should have the damage output to finish off this kill, or maybe not as KYXY. He's in with the arena. He'll try after CTM. Do they have the damage for the Bristle? They'll lose Chris, but they'll get Yopaj, the CTM. He's going to try and go for a run, but they should have enough control to maybe take him down in time before his team does reach him, or maybe not. He's still alive with 70 HP. They're trying their best. KYXY with the spear. He does get there in time. It's Januel now. May turn. Ponlo, he's going to drop. KYXY is there, still chasing the Enchantress, but they're not going to have enough damage.
Dire's middle
They'll
tower
back.
is under attack.
Oh, that's a bit of an awkward spot for OB.Neon. They lose their 2 cores for a core support. Losing Skem right then, I mean, it slows down his Ags slightly. His Ags is still set to come once he respawns. You're still going to have that good spike onto Bristle, but you really don't want to give these kind of openings to Team D. Even if you're strong now, if the game does get stalled out, Team D with Luna can still sort of go for that outscale. Luna is just a much more stable POS 1 as long as it's protected. And we have been seeing KYXY step up to the plate. All of these big kills coming out from his great arenas and spears to set up for his team. And you've always got the counteraction for the Bristle and the spear. So you still have natural hero counters here on Team D. OB.Neon's not ahead enough to feel completely comfy with this game. 2k up is great, but they need a little bit more on the map to really feel comfy.
Cavalry has arrived. Dire are scanning.
OB.Neon, they've gone into that dire triangle. Team D, they have made their presence known in that mid lane. And they jump in, KYXY, a very nice spear back onto Januel. That's going to be an Enchantress kill. Yeah, a nice start here as a Burrow Strike mid lane. Who have they found? It's going to be Ponlo. They landed the arrow as well. With the Starfall, they will be able to burst him down. As Drew, he pops the Eclipse, but nobody's there. Shanks, he just leaps out. And 496, or excuse me, rather Team D, well, they might just be chased down now as Chris is going to try and chain away. CTM is on the chase with the Aghanim Scepter up. The chains will keep going, but look how slow Chris walks away. They get the Burrow Strike as well this time, and don't get him. Nice setup there from CTM. OB.Neon, 2 great kills for themselves. They lose nothing in response. They can just keep controlling the momentum of this game too.
Yeah, it's just not quite lining up for Team D. Drew just feeling pressured to bring that damage out for the team. He at least holds on to his BKB charge at 9 seconds, but that does open up the Roshan. With the damage output CTM has with a minus armor, this should be a straightforward Rosh.
And Ryu is in. Arrow again. This combination has been really haunting the cause of Team D. Paulo's going to rush in. He's too late though. Primal Split's there. Maybe they could try to turn. And Ryu, he does get caught by the Light Strike array. He's fine. At least for now, as he does go back in for Destrus. Shanks, he does die, but it just doesn't seem like a great trade. Ponlo, he does at least catch up the Sand King again, but Enryu is going to be able to run. Dust, it's not going to be within range, and while all that's happening, CTM, he gets a Roshan for himself. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not looking smooth for Team D. That last engage, they had the Laguna ready on Destrus. Looks like he was trying to cast, but I guess Enryu was right in the tree line. The vision was cut off and he couldn't quite fully commit. It does cost them. Like, if they found a Sand King there, you'd feel a little bit better. I mean, still losing Rosh is big. Like, CTM, probably the best hero to carry the Aegis, just because you can really maximize that fresh set of mana and a fresh HP. So there's a lot more presence from Bristleback going into this one now, as a 5k lead for OB.Neon has built up. Drew, he's still keeping up with a farm on the Bristle, but it's not going as fast as you'd want. Like, he's still trying to save for that Daedalus next. For Team D's part, they need a way of jumping into the back line. They need something to stop Ponlo from just immediately dying.
Mistress is fine. Top lane, CTM.
Dire's top tower is
Gonna
under
keep
attack.
applying pressure onto that tier 2
Radiant's
top tower.
structures are fortified.
OB.Neon. Gonna start setting up for that top tier 2 though. They're not really backing off. CTM quite easily can just take this. Just by himself.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's exactly what he's gonna do.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Team D. I mean, right now, all they can do is try and play the avoid game. Drew, he's got the BKB up, but it does feel like he's lacking that oomph, that damage in the middle of these team fights. OB.Neon, they're not going to let go of this aggression quite yet. They want to keep it up. Through the Dire Triangle, down towards their own jungle. They are definitely running the right way. In fact, they might find an unsuspecting Ponlo who does get caught out. He doesn't have Primal Split for another 5 seconds and he's just gone. Now they can really start the team fight if they want. And they also found KYXY. He'll blink away. Chris is in with the chains out. But it's looking like a very awkward team fight here for the side of Team D as he does get caught with the Burrow Strike and he's been left behind. The rest of Team D not going to back him up as OB.Neon. They'll just start pushing again down the bot lane.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, they're
is under
clumping
attack.
around this power spike on CTM quite nicely. They know he's a bit too strong to handle right now. They're chasing up top as well.
Yeah, Destrous, he pops the dust, he does not get stunned up, and now the arena's out. Maybe they get your punch for this. Drew's in, pops the BKB, no playing around. They do at least get the mid Zeus. So not all is bad here for Team D, but it is still looking like a very, very tough game to come back from. I suppose at some stage, though, this Luna is going to be a little bit out of control if you're not too careful. But speaking of her, she does get caught. The arrow connects again. There's no BKB up, and Drew's just dead. He's just so reliant on having some form of magic immunity. This Burrow Strike arrow has just been haunting the side of Team D. They're just going to keep losing more.
God.
They are falling apart as time goes on.
Yeah, damage output of OB.Neon's just too much. Team D, there's no protection here. They don't have an Abaddon to break the combo off. Aeon discs are still a ways off, especially for Ponlo, who desperately needs it in the middle of it. And all the HUD of Defiances aren't enough to sustain against the magic output
Dire's
of
bottom
OB.Neon.
tower
I think
is under
they're going to need a full pipes at some point, just to have some sort of shield to block that initial burst. So they have time to respond, and the Lotus Orb is not even done on Chris yet. Still, he's got the gold to buy it out. I think he's holding back for buyback. And OB.Neon, they still hold that for his Aegis. They've got it for a minute more. And they're going for the push. Like tier 2 bot just shoved in, no response out from Team D. Mid is the last outer tower left. And if OB.Neon can find that mid tier 2, it's going to make the high ground so much easier. They can go for the mega creeps if they win one big fight. Team D, they're still waiting for that Daedalus up on Drew. And it's still a long ways off. He's just not able to sit back and farm.
We'll see how long they can drag this out, Team D. I mean, it's a 10k net worth deficit now against OB.Neon. I mean, CTM hasn't even got his own BKB up yet. That's going to be a pretty big cause of concern for Team D, knowing that he still has his own massive magic community to come out. Mid lane, you're looking to set up again, and he's going to go right after Chris. Arrow is going to land as well, but he has some backup around him. They fight back here against OB.Neon. They'll get the stuns up, but Enryu, he's still alive, but not for long. They'll get the kill. OB.Neon, gotta be careful here. CTM, he's been cycloned up, and they even found John Newell with the arena and the Eclipse. They'll burst him down, but they really want Yopaj. He blinks out of there on the Zeus. It looks like he's gonna be just fine. Instead, Chris is being chased down again, but Ponlo is being very annoying with these cyclones, not allowing them to get the follow-up damage off. And it looks like Team D are going to be able to get the rest of their teammates out of there. The CTM, he's going to stop the chase, but now Team D, they're thinking about going back in. But they won't. They'll hold back. Just very challenging to get through this bristleback. Back Ponlo. Now he's been slowed up now. KYXY going to try and help him out, but they've got the Zeus to follow up. Yopaj Gonna be able to secure another kill for himself, his 13th of the game on this Zeus. Team D, they do end up losing one in the end.
Yeah, they just stick around too long. They're still posturing around that triangle area, looking for stragglers. But at that point, they blew Eclipse, they blew Arena, they had nothing to play with. You need to pull back, reset, wait for at least the Arena to be back up before looking to re-engage. And we're reaching a point where Team D, that Timbersaw is not feeling too tanky. The Lotus Orb is up, along with Kai Sanj. So there's some tools here for Chris to save his team now. But you're not going to be able to stop this push. Like, CTM's just lining up for the tier 2 mid, last outer tower for Team D. And he does not have the protection of his Aegis though, so at least you don't have to worry about 2 lives on the Bristle. But your lanes are all open now. The high ground is fairly open for Neon to look to take. They've still got Eclipse ready on Enryu if he wants to join in for the next fight. And they've got still way too much gold. 11k lead for OB.Neon at 27 minutes in. Team D, Drew is starting to lag a bit behind now. Is close to the Daedalus, just lacking that Demon Edge, 500 gold away. So once that's up, that should be a nice beam there.
Oh, Destrus. TP cancelled, they've got the Nimbus up. Looks like they are probably going to lose this pulse 4 laner. He's trying to at least get the Nimbus in time, but CTM's not going to allow it. One more hit away, but he will not get it. As OB.Neon now, knowing that they have one down, might try to approach the high ground. We've seen this Sankey Mirana combination pay off over and over again. If Enryu can land the stun, it just seems like it's going to be no issue for them.
Yeah, they've just got so much easier control to pull off compared to Team D. CTM is dropping a bit low, has to respect the magic damage output coming through from Team D anyway, but it just forces Team D to kind of stand their ground. The Daedalus is up on Drew though, so his damage is great. They just need a way of forcing Schem to face front with that spear, and if they can land it with KOXY, I think you've got a pretty good grip on that Bristleback in this game.
Chris is just holding that mid lane. He does have his whole team smoked behind him now, so it's a bit of a bait, and they do take it. OB.Neon, they are in with the burrow and the arrow, but how much are they going to lose for this? Enryu goes for the epi, but it's not enough. Chris survives. In fact, they'll lose 2 now, maybe even a 3rd, as they found the Mirana. With that Cyclone up, Shanks is going to try and leap his way out of this, but it looks like he is going to be stuck, and they lose 3. OB.Neon, they fall for the bait. And Team D, they could start applying some of their own pressure now.
Yeah.
Ponlo? Uh-oh, Ponlo. Been caught by himself, or maybe not. KYXY is going to try and help out. Can they deal with CTM though? He has a BKB up now. He's just going to turn around. That's a double for them now as Chris, he's just going to try and run. Drew, he might have to just man fight this. Yopaj even found Destrus on the Lena. They'll just go 2v5. They found a 4th.
Well, what did you expect?
The only survivor is Drew. That was a 2v5, John.
Yeah, Team D just overextended again. They tried to jump CTM, and the moment the Arena and Spear failed to connect because CTM swapped into BKB, that's where it really fell apart. They need CTM to face forward, they need to chain stun him down to get the damage off, and now the high ground's open again. Respawns are there for OB.Neon, respawns are not quite there for Team D, and this is a lot of time for CTM to just get some good damage off. They're forced to fortify. That just means that they're not going to have it for later on. And the respawns are still a ways off here for Team D. Not too far, but enough to find some objectives.
And it will be mid-racks going down. OB.Neon. They keep at it. It'll be pretty hard to try and deal with CTM as is, let alone with that Lotus Orb. Your mid-rack's gone. OB.Neon, oh, they've left CTM behind, but he is a very tanky target. Can you actually burst him down? It just doesn't seem like it, not without Chris. He does chain in and get a lot of damage off, but now the turnaround. Enryu is there with the burrow, into the arrow, onto Ponlo. They want to make sure that Brewmaster Split never comes out, but Ponlo, he can still throw it out in time, and he does. KYXY is there. A nice arena. Yapaj is in there. He's been caught out by the stun. Looks like he is set to fall and does, in fact, Enryu also drops, but now how do you deal with CTM? BKB up. He gets at least one on the Destrus and wants to go after Drew, but the Cyclone from Ponlo is going to make it so he can't chase any further. Said Ponlo now, back on a Genuel, might just end up killing himself here. He does have the air on discount, but it's not going to be enough. They will turn, but he will TP away. Meanwhile, Drew, back on a CTM, wants the Bristle back. Eclipse has been popped as well, but Drew, he is copping so much damage, and they just still can't kill this Bristle. CTM will turn back around after the Eclipse now, and try to go back after this kill. Drew is still trying to stick around and fight this one out. KYXY, he's in as well. CTM finally dies to Chris. The Whirling Death will prove to be enough. And Drew, he's going to look for a bit more now. Jonuel, he'll try to run. Lucent Beam. He does have the shards up.
My sprites are with us.
Well, that may have cost him that heal. Drew, he could just spam this over and over again with the Mask of Madness. Oh, Glimmer Cape going to buy a bit more time here for the Enchantress as I believe Drew spotted him. Ward down, that is not going to help his cause. Enchant now, he's buying quite a bit of time at the very least. But KYXY may have just had enough. Dust out, yeah, that will be enough in the end. Enryu? Doubt he can make a play by himself. He's just got to be careful not to get caught out by himself. It's Ponlo. They're not going to spot him. Epicenter? Not, surely not by him. He's going in. He is going in with the Thunder God's ramped out and the Nimbus Drew. He is going to survive, and they will turn onto the Sand King and Yapaj. He gets caught by the arena. It was too greedy of a play.
Oh my god, Neon. That might actually cost him. No buyback in Yapaj. Roche number 2 going the way of Team D. Free Ags Shard, Cheese, Aegis. This is a big bounce back in for Team D. They still have to clear out Tier 2 towers. Tier 1 still stands top. They can't go for Megas. But they can go to even out these lanes at the least. It's a lot of time without the Zeus. And a lot of their damage output is coming out from magic. Like, outside of Scam doing all the physical work, it's still about magical burst on OB.Neon's side. They need Yapaj to be up, and CTM's going to have to do a lot here to stop that push.
Yeah, I mean, you've got this problem of this Bristle, but with the Timber again, with the Whirling Death, it's not too hard to deal with CTM. He pumps the BKB though, but Chris is on the chase. If they can get this kill, it'd be absolutely massive for Team D. Ponlo, he'll be there with the Cyclone very soon, but CTM, he's a very speedy boy. Ponlo, he gets it in time as Jonuel dies mid lane to Drew, but they've got the Bristle back, or do they? CTM now back in the base, and that's going to be enough. Back into that mid tier 2 tower they go, Team D. Again, starting to look pretty darn good as the net worth lead has dropped to only 1k for OB.Neon. They're going to get the tier 2 mid tower, no problem. Can they get a tier 3? Burrow strikes in. Arrow is there. Drew, can they connect him? Or rather protect him? The arena is down. Drew, he gets the Eclipse off at the arena. Well, Aegis is already down. Enryu, he's gone.
Oh, no buyback.
No buyback. CTM and Enryu are both gone, and they have no buyback. On the brighter side, they don't have to deal with the Aegis of Drew. And in fact, Team D, do they not realize this?
No,
Maybe just not confident enough. Not confident enough to go into the Zeus's Ponlo. Gives the tip over to Yapaj.
Calculated Ponlo. Of course, he meant to almost die. All according to plans Ponlo. Still, big missed opportunity. No buyback in the Bristle. They could have gone for the mid racks. They played safe. They had a numbers advantage. They're probably feeling like they need a reset. They will have the split up soon. Top lane, they have to clear out the tier 1 and tier 2. That's enough time for Neon to just have the respawns come back up. And no Aegis up, and I believe I saw Cheese eaten as well. You don't have that sustain from the Roshan, but a great swing back from Team D. It's not just the Bristle doing work here. It's really KYXY with the Spear as well. It forces the Bristle to face front, and the damage output from Drew just takes over from there. It's just down the line when you don't manage to get that BKB save on yourself as the Bristle with a 6-second BKB, the Spear is going to come true. You're going to face front, and Drew and Chris can just drop you down so quick. You have to be cautious As the scaling for the Bristle now, it feels like our Luna's managed to catch up and reach that point where Luna's damage output with the glaives with her right clicks are just a lot stronger than what a Bristle can hope to achieve.
3k net worth lead, swinging the way of team. Look at the graph, John. It's made a literal mountain here for Team D. Drew is going to run into Shanks. This combination of Enryu and Shanks with that Sand King Mirana, it's been so effective, but you're at that point of the game where you just can't rely on that. Like, it can't be your only thing. Unfortunately, that may just be the case, though, for OB.Neon. This feels like Team D, over time, have just figured out the answers to this combo. And now they want to push forward. They know they've got a bit of an advantage.
You have the Aeon Disc on Enryu. I guess you can go for follow-up stuns. They're going for the outpost.
Epicenter. Yeah, he's channeling it. He's going all the way. They found Drew. Okay, that's a big target, but the 4-stuffs are there, so Drew, he'll survive as they go back in. Aeon Disc does proc. It is complete chaos. Arena down as well. Drew, he's dropping low, but no. He heals up with the Satanic. The lifesteal's going to be enough. Back onto John Newell. He's about to die, but the 4-stuff back away. They've only lost Destra so far, and nobody on the side of OB.Neon's dead, as Chris, he gets caught by a very nice arrow there from Shanks. And Ponlo does drop to the Zeus played by Yopaj. Back onto the Burrow Strike. Chris, he's going to try and chains. He's gone. OB.Neon, they managed to turn another team fight their way.
Yeah, they managed to push Team D back, take the network lead again. Team D just not the positioning they want. They were very split up once more. They didn't respect the fact that OB.Neon could have pincered them in. Very unexpected move from OB.Neon, but opens up an opportunity. They could force the buyback on Chris. They can look for more objectives, and it's going to be a bit awkward without Arena. It's going to be up in a bit. They need to land it on CTM if they want to kill that Bristle.
I see CTM now on the high ground. Start forcing in that tier 3 tower. A very hard defense, especially without your Brewmaster, but he doesn't have the Primal Split anyway. OB.Neon, knowing the advantage they have, will just keep going. Burrow strikes in, Arrow is there to follow up, but no, the 4-staff Destris, he'll save the day. CTM, he's in though, he's found the Lena and she has no buyback. CTM is still fighting Drew. Drew is just trying to man fight, but he does go down. He can buy back, but this game might just be over. It's a 3v5 scenario now. There's Arrow, Ponlo, he's not going to get stunned, but he does cancel the TP off. It's still 2 down with that buyback. Refresher orb up on your Page, and he does have the ulti to just come off cooldown in about 4 seconds. And OB.Neon, 2 racks is up now, are looking to get those megas. Burrow strike in, Arrow, Drew, not gonna cop it, but Chris does, unfortunately. He gets stunned up, and look at the damage. CTM blows him up immediately. Ponlo, he'll go for the split. It's a 2v5. Can they do it? Probably not. Ponlo, his Brewlings are just dying. Drew's gonna try from the fountain. He will try with the heal, but they get another arrow off. They found the Luna again. And it's on to the megas. Epi?
Drew?
Is there?
Oh,
Drew? Yeah,
God.
he's been caught out. That's a dieback on the Luna. And that should be it. Tips out for Enryu. And I've got to admit, John Enryu, he's done a great job on the Sand King this game. And that'll be it. We are going to a game number 3 between OB.Neon and Team D.
Yeah, Neon managing to really build up this time with CTM. A big difference here is that Enryu's lane wasn't completely shut out. He wasn't zoned out by Luna. They managed to get that control. They managed to stop Drew from just farming his way to victory for the team. And Team D, there were a couple of moments where it looked like they were bouncing back in. They take some good fights, and then a couple of times they just overstay their welcome. They keep looking for more. They get caught out for it, and they get punished. They end up not being able to go to the high ground when the buyback was not there for CTM, so they don't manage to even out the lanes, and just some less than ideal decisions being made there for Team D that did cost them in the end. It was a much more back and forth game. Team D was still looking pretty strong, but OB.Neon does manage to pull out. This is the OB.Neon we were looking for in game 1, and does show up here. We'll see who does win out in the next game. It's been a really even series so far, a lot more even than I think the odds would suggest, but Team D are bringing a pretty good fight to OB.Neon.
All right, with that, we are going to head to a 10-minute break, and right after that break, we'll be back with game number 3 between OB.Neon and Team D.